He wanted you.
Well,
I was just along for the ride.
no, Chuck. We are in this together. So what is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours, or something like that. I think that's what they say,
No,
or something. I don't know.
He's
Anyways,
high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to RailCats Talk Podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich, and we were already talking an hour so and a half before this, but with Shy Fool, who look forward to that episode coming out the week of the Dogs RailCat series. My life's a mess. That my wife is contracting, and my computer room ran out of power on Friday, so I don't know what's going on. Chuck, how are you?
oh wow. Well, your computer time is kind of like the Railcats, man. It's
Hit or
all and
miss?
then it's nothing, right? I mean, that's the craziness. All good here. Man, time is ticking for you. Very excited, and all that. And I'll tell you what, time is also ticking on the season where we are
And
lost
going.
another one today. It was looking like a very close game. All of a sudden, I mean, a wet game. We had a
Mhm.
couple of really wet games. Um, and you know, playing the number one team in the other division. And I mean that. What
I
can
am.
you?
Oh, I. The thing is we faced Lake Country right before the or who did we I forget who we faced before the All-Star break. Um, any help? No, you got nothing. Okay, I don't remember. Okay, it's been a long week. Anyways, we see Jeff come in. He wins his first game. We take 2 out of 3.
Kane
Um,
County.
okay, that's what Kane County. There we go. It all came together. Kane County, and then you face a Sioux City team where you have an offense explosion, and then you kind of like you have a game where it's the battle of the pitchers, and you lose in extra innings going 1-1 through the 10th. And not capitalizing on bases loaded 2 out kind of situation. And then you take today, for example, you have a Peyton Long that went, what, I think 29 straight innings without giving up a run at home. 29 straight innings without giving up a run at home.
He pitched, I believe, and these numbers might be a little rough. He was at like uh 39 innings
Hmm.
and had given up 6 runs
Yeah.
this
It,
month,
oh, no,
right?
he's
This month.
unreal.
And those 6 runs were in one game. And the other 3 games he was spotless.
Hmm.
And gave up 1 run today, and then all of a sudden that last inning he gave up 2, which put us at 3-1,
It
and
was it was 2-1
2-1.
2-1 because then it was him and then the rain happened that caused the hour and a half rain delay or
Yeah.
however long it was.
So, but still, I mean, Peyton Long, he's a
Yes.
monster right now. And if you take the rain out of it, I think it's even better. So,
I well I don't
don't think
I want to go real because I did write it down.
okay.
I do want to go back to the All-Star break real quick. During the All-Star game, uh Richards went 2 for 2 with a run and a double. Peralta went 2 for 5. Jacob Coates went one inning, 2 strikeouts and a walk. He came in the eighth. The East ended up winning 9-2, and Aaron Altera won the MVP for the All-Star game. Um, the All-Star game was exciting this year. I thought the West was going to kind of run away with it, but I mean, I just kind of sucked that Richards only got 2 at-bats, and wishing that he would have been. I think if he would have played more innings, he would have gotten more hits and probably more runs. But it was nice to see Peralta. He went up there twice, struck out twice, and then he kind of got it all clicking together on that front of it. Um, but yeah, the time's ticking. We're 3 days, 4 days away from the last month, a full month of the season. I know they're still hoping to be in some kind of playoff hope. It's going to be very difficult to do. Is it a team that still has it? Yes. Is it still mostly Lamar Rogers players, yes, except the new player that we brought in. I terrible. I was not expecting to do the podcast right after with
Brandon
after Brand.
Brandon Anderson, I believe is his name.
Yes, Boiler Up, I guess.
Yep,
I shouldn't say that as a Notre Dame fan. I should probably chop my arm off for doing that. But
probably.
for the respect of my brother-in-law, I did it.
Brandon played yesterday, I believe. Had a first at bat was a walk. Second at bat flew out to left field. Third at bat, grounder, I believe, to first base. And then the fourth at bat, he struck out.
Okay. I mean, it probably coming from not necessarily professional ball, but from college over. Uh, a bit of a different experience on that front of it. It takes some time, as we all know, but really because Machado went out, he's on the disabled list, which opened up a roster spot to bring that player in on that aspect of it. But Chuck, the real question is I heard that they opened the steel yard up for planes to come land in, or because I guess it's a fly zone now. 15 stolen bases in one game.
Yeah. So, we get this Valentine catcher. And I don't know what was happening that game, but Sioux City just had everybody that came on base, double steals galore. You get a base, you get a base. It really was when we threw the ball down, it was a terrible throw. And you, that was if you look at the stats on that game, I believe they got was it like 8 runs
Eight
on
run, yeah, 8 runs on 4 hits.
on 4 hits.
Hmm.
Um, that game was a lot better than what those numbers show. As far as pitching was a lot better.
Hmm.
Guys would get on base on first. Next thing you know, they're at third. It was like they had a team of JRs on their team.
And here's my caveat to that. Yes, you could blame the you can blame the catcher on
Catcher,
that,
pitcher wouldn't hold them on.
but
Um,
it's that at that point that's a whole like scheme of like, all right, listen, don't let them go another base. Like
right,
there should be no reason that a team is outscoring the amount of hits they have. Like that's very rare for that to happen. And we're not talking like they had 8 runs on 7 hits. We're talking like half the runs were probably just steals or walks or whatever the case, and then they just all right, there we go.
but like
Like
if the pitcher went the full game and was like, "Hey, I only gave up 4 hits," you'd be like, "Wow, that must have been a great game." No, we lost eight
I,
to whatever, right? It's like, oh, wait a second here. There's a lot more to the story to this, you know.
yeah, that's really I think the big highlight in my eyes is like how do you allow that to happen? Because that's just simply like you just got to the point where you just gave up and said, you know what, just take third. Like at that point, we're gonna walk and just instead of walking to first, just take third, mark it as 2 stolen bases and call it a day. Like that's just overall a bad scheme. And then if we're talking about differences in management style, again, I wasn't at the game, I wasn't able to watch the game. But at what point do you say, okay, maybe I need to make a catching change because we know that Cooper can throw people out? And yes, I know the little bit of the game that I watched today, he did. Sioux City's fast. They're quick. I mean, they're one guy stole on a Denson Hall pickoff move. Like
Right,
they're fast. So I'm not taking that away from them. But like, at what point do you say this isn't working? We need to try something different because 15 stolen bases is either one you're telling me that you simply don't care or you're not good enough.
right. That's definitely something that I was thinking about. Also the very next game, not very. I don't think they stole it all the next game. Cooper threw out one guy, and they were like, "Okay, we're done with this." Um, when you find a weakness in the team, Sioux City's one of those that will just stick the knife in and just keep twisting.
Yep.
And they'll just keep hitting you on that weakness until you change it and figure it out. And uh, nothing has changed as far as that goes. We sat there, we watched it, we let it keep happening. Nothing was changed. I would say, hey, a team gets 4 or 5 stolen bases off you, you might want to say, okay, let's have a conversation with the pitchers.
Hmm.
Let's make sure we're holding on. Let's have a conversation with the catcher. Hey, dude, start throwing down to the bases to make sure these guys aren't getting off very far. Whatever you have to do. But the stolen bases that we were giving up, it wasn't we were missing it by a step. It was they were safe standing up on the bag before the ball got there.
Yeah. Uh,
They weren't even close.
and that as much as we, variance between, what our thought process of, well, your thought process with Cooper is kind of stayed the same. Mine's kind of fluctuate through the year just depending on what we're battling with. But in that instance, it's nice to have a Cooper Edwards because like today on when Hall was able to pick off the guy the second time at second, it was Cooper who was telling him throw it to second, throw it to second.
Right.
Like it and Cooper does sometimes do a lot of back checking and stuff. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if he wants to do that, but like it's one of those like you see the game, you understand it from that level. That's why I think eventually Cooper Edwards could be a great manager once he decides that he doesn't want to play anymore. I think he sees that game very well from that standpoint. But having a guy that, you're like, all right, we can throw you behind the plate. We're going to limit the amount of runs that are giving free bases because we have someone behind the plate that can't throw anyone out. Uh, what helped, when we had Noriega, which we didn't talk about this last week, but having Noriega, who is someone that could throw someone out and that could hit, help the team.
Right.
But it's seeming like we're reserved, after Noriega left, and we we were under the assumption, or I was under the assumption that he wanted to be released from the RailCats because his wife was having complications, and then seeing that Kansas City picked him up so quickly, not realizing that his wife lives in Kansas City, and then it wasn't so much that she's having complications, it's just that he wants to be closer to home. But my counterpoint to that is if you're leaving a team to go be closer to your wife, do you really think still playing baseball is the smart move on that front? Because if you're telling me that I have to quit my job or rotate my job to another place, like I guess that's just me. Because I guess I'm living in the boat of my wife. Like right now, I'm on eggshells. Every time my phone rings and I'm not with my wife, or every time she winces differently, that could just be me. But I don't know if in the back of my mind that I could be playing baseball. And I get that you're getting paid to do it, but let's let's be honest, you're not making that much money to be I'm going to not be I'm gonna leave a team to go to another team to be close to my wife so I can still play baseball. Like again, people are different and that's just my thought process on it. But nonetheless, that I kind of threw me for a loop when I saw that. Like, well, why did Kansas City pick him up? And then all of a sudden, why is he playing? And then it all
Yeah.
kind of came together. It
Yeah.
was,
No, it was I kind of so from what I had heard was that not that she was having complications, but that she was feeling very uncomfortable. She wanted him to be home. So she was that anxiety
Mhm.
that you feel when you're pregnant and you need to have that person there with you or within range, right? I'm sure your wife would feel the same way if,
Yeah.
say, you were in Ohio and she was, hey, do any time I need, I would feel a little bit more at ease if you were closer by. That kind of a thing. So that's kind of the way that I took it was that he was going home. His wife wanted him to be closer or to be there while she was kind of dealing with these things. And so when I saw him get picked up by King County, I was like, okay, um, that doesn't make any sense. And I was watching the roster there and he didn't play. And then I saw, oh, he got traded to Kansas City and then he was playing and I was like, what the heck's this? And then that's when I found out, oh, he's actually 15 minutes from the stadium. So for them to pick him up and use him, okay, that makes sense. But that being said, um, I had heard probably a week or two before that he was asking to be released, and that so maybe he was unhappy. We also have to go back to the previous year when he was on the team, and he wasn't getting the playing time that he wanted, and so we traded him for another catcher. Uh, you kind of get that feeling that he's one of those guys that, hey, uh, maybe he's a little bit higher maintenance. Um, and so, hey, we should have got something for him. We didn't. Oh, well, it is what it is. Um, he helped us out while he was here. Um, from what I've heard from pitchers, there's no ill will.
Hmm.
Uh, they just wish that we would have gotten some sort of a benefit from him going to play somewhere else. And so that there's that. But you know, I mean, the only the only thing that I would be critical on Cooper about is his hitting.
Yeah.
And but here's what I've noticed about Cooper uh more recently. First of all, he's making great contact with the ball.
Hmm.
There were a couple of them where they were just like solid contact flyouts to maybe 10 feet from the warning track. Um, Definitely deep hits, and that kind of thing. He also had a heck of a game where, I mean, he four RBIs, I believe, five
Hmm.
RBIs, something like that on one game. Um, and then he had the RBI today, I believe. Um, but my thing with him is that, okay, he's making better contact. That I was critical about before is that hey, he's just not hitting the ball. He's making better contact. But here's the other thing that he's doing is that he is, I believe there was a bat yesterday where he took, I think it was 9 pitches in the at bat. So he is having quality at bats. He isn't just going up there and swinging at the first 3 pitches. He's fouling the ball off consistently. He's working the count. And hey, we've gone like 3 innings with only using 9 pitches, and
Yeah.
this and Cooper is taking 9 at one at bat. That's just to me, that's like, hey, he's using the skills that he has, he's using the tools that he has, and he's making the most out of it. And and I'm not surprised because that's the kind of guy Cooper is. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
He's a that is going to go out there, and if you tell him to run, he's going to run as fast as he can. You tell him to slide, he's going to be the best at sliding he possibly can. I mean, he is giving you 100% no matter what, whether rain, shine, hail, sleet, whatever. He's giving you 100% every time you put him out there. The guy doesn't take a day off. And and when you know a guy like that, and when you see him play like that, you can't help but just be excited when the guy gets a 4 RBI day. And you can't help but say, "Hey, Coop, how'd that feel?" "Oh, I felt fantastic." Yep. I good for you, man. Good for you. You're getting what you've been working for. So, hey, don't be surprised if he's throwing guys out. Don't be surprised if he's telling the guy to throw it over to second base and pick somebody off. Don't be surprised if he's throwing a guy out at third base like he did at the end of the game. They had a guy on third that was taking a lead and he pegged him down and nailed him. Don't be surprised at those things because that's the catcher that Cooper Edwards is.
I don't think I've ever once said that Cooper Edwards is anything off of nothing but almost an elite defensive catcher. His arm, his knowledge of the game, the way he relays pitches to pitchers, the way he calls the game. I don't think there's one time that I don't think anyone that's watched any of his games can tell you or can tell me or tell him that you are not a great defensive
Right.
catcher. That's not when you say wouldn't be surprised, I'm not surprised.
Oh no, not
I expect I
people that
expect
watch.
it. I expect it. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing is, I expect when a runner steals second that he's going to gun him down. And
Yep.
there's a reason he's almost at a 30% clip of throwing runners out. He's just that good. He understands the game. He also, when it comes to throwing runners out, is also on the pitchers. And I don't think all the time the pitchers are because they think I only have 2 times to throw over, so I have to make a really good pickoff move. I don't really have a good pickoff move, so I'm not really concerned about it. Getting off track on that portion of it. Listen, I really want Cooper Edwards to succeed in the hitting department. And it's not that if you're going to tell me that once or twice a week he's going to have a blowout, extended a great game where he's going to go 4 for 5 or whatever the case would be. Like that'd be great. His betting average would be great. But the issue is you don't always get that all the time, and sometimes you need that offense production from
Right.
that back, the bottom of that order. So I just being able to get on base, and even another stat today that I heard, Joe Swazi hasn't had an RBI all month. Like he
Gee,
had, yeah. So the people that have been producing haven't been producing at the level they're used to. But but that's where you have to see those kinds of things. Is like LG was struggling towards the end of the year. Joe Swazi's knocking in RBIs now. It's kind of like reversing a little bit. LG's starting to find his game again. So you're making up for that kind of stuff in and out. Ernie Ardonis is doing better. Like I don't have all the stats, and like I said, you can attest to the games more than I can at this point, just with my work schedule and
the bottom half of the lineup has been the ones that have been winning the games lately.
oh, and but you need that. Like
Right.
you don't win games. I think that's the maybe some of the issues I had a little bit with Lamar Rogers. Like he sometimes stacked his bottom of the lineup with people that weren't hitting as well. So you get to those games, those one run games where you need that offensive production. You get those top half guys on, and then you don't sprinkle them throughout. So like, bam, you have the worst hitters 7, 8, 9, and those are the guys that are coming up. And I know you expect that, but sometimes you need a variance in that. I mean, even at that, like you have it in the 6, 7, 8 hole. Like you're just not getting that production. Not saying that it has been any
Today's
different.
today's game, 1, 2, 3, 4 hitter all went over. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the ones that were getting the hits or walks.
Mm-hmm.
So
And sometimes your top of the order doesn't produce, and that's going to happen. But the top of the order is going to produce more times than not. But you just need it, the thing is at the bottom of the order, you don't need production all the time. You need production at key moments in the game.
right.
And I don't think they get that from the bottom of the order on the game. Obviously, on the games you don't win, but on the games that they do win or they win by a lot, or even the close margin games, it's not the top of the order that's doing that. It's the bottom of the order that's knocking in the key runs at the key times.
Yep. Yep. LG's going from a what was it, a 217 average to like a 270 now.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
he's
been
out. Again, like I said, I know you wanted to see Lamar Rogers finish out the year, and I think we both agreed that if you take the one run games and you go on and so forth, that it would be a different season, and it's still showing that it's I feel the team not all the time has that clutch factor. Like you need a guy that just goes up there and is just clutch the entire
right.
time. I don't think you get that a lot with, and I think that may be the downfalls. Like you don't have those one or two guys that like, not saying they produce every time, but in key situations they do their jobs and they get people where they need to go. And the games that they win or they blow people out, you see that all the time. You see smart base running. You see um station to station, or you see the extension of maybe I typically take balls to right field. I'm gonna take this ball to the left. We just don't get
Yeah.
that a lot. And I think
Yeah.
that's some of the issues that has lied with the roster.
Yeah. I to be honest with you, I haven't seen any difference. I feel as though at the beginning of the season we were winning what, one out of every four games. Um, Now I believe this month we were probably about 50-50.
Hmm.
So manager change, we're still seeing 50-50. So I don't think that anything's changed there. Uh, Same players still producing the same way. Um, and the manager calls, in-game calls, um, got a little bit frustrating yesterday. We had a play at the plate where it looked like to me that he missed the tag. Went back and watched it on the cast. It looked like on there after replaying it, slowing it down, and all that, that there's no way that he made the tag. Um, and yet, Jeff stood there at third base and took it as an out and just let it go. But that would have been the winning part of the game. We would have won 2-1, and instead we went into extra innings and lost, right? So, little bit frustrated there. I think Lamar would have been off the handle and would have been fighting that one. Um,
I
just little stuff like that that can sway a game one way or the other. Okay, but I'm not seeing that at
that's
all
that
right
that
now. So
that's such a minute that's such a minute like part of the game. I get it. I understand. I'm not there to watch it. I mean, but you gotta even take it if you want to take to the stream the that Saturday game that was his first game managing the second pitch of the game, he's already going ballistic on the umpire. So I'm just that's just a small portion of it. Like I get it. Maybe it's just one of those like maybe he saw it and he goes, well, he was probably out, so I'm not really going to argue that portion of it. Even though you may have seen it one way or the other, he might just be an even keel guy that at this point he's just like, all right, I if I see it, I'm not going to blow up on it because why would I risk getting kicked out of a game that's so close to leave it in the hands? I'm not saying that Kent or Jason aren't capable of doing it, but that's not their job. Your job is to manage the game. And if I get pulled out of this game, now I'm taking everyone out of their comfort zones and putting them in a situation, a high pressure situation that they're not there to handle.
I I could see that if that wasn't the norm. But when you're facing a team like Sioux City, where that manager was out today 4 times to dispute a call or to question an ump, yesterday was out 3, 4 times. I mean, there's and not thrown out, right? Just hey, explain to me how you came up with this. Explain to me how this is possible. And that to me, it seemed like the umpires and I don't know what's going on with the umpires, but it seemed like the umpires were pretty even keeled. This time around, we did have Clay as an umpire. Um, I went off the handle on a check swing where I hadn't yelled at all the whole game, and here the batter barely takes the bat off the shoulder, and I they check. I look over, and Clay is looking out to the outfield or something, and he looks over and he calls him out. And I'm like, seriously, dude, you weren't even looking at the play, and he barely took the bat off his shoulder, and you're calling it a strike. I mean, come on, And then Clay comes over and he goes, "So you didn't like that call, huh?" And I'm like, I'm like, wait a second, what? No, I didn't because he barely took his bat off his shoulder. But the next time he actually checked swings and it went over and he called it another strike, right? And I'm like, that one, yes, you can go with that one, but the first one, no, right? And he says, well, you had a better view than I did. And I'm like, yeah, because you weren't watching. He goes, I promise you, I was paying attention. I'm like, okay, And then the next batter up, I think it was the next batter up, he does the same stupid thing again and calls a And I'm like, you know what? When Clay is at first base or at third base, if I was a catcher, I would just constantly be pointing over because he just wants to get out of there. So he's just calling everything yeah, he went.
He's got a hot dinner date. I wouldn't
He
blame him.
does,
Uh,
but when you see, I don't know, the games were crazy, crazy close yesterday. Wish we could have walked it off. We had opportunity. We failed. And that. But hey, whatever. Uh, if I look at the excitement factor, last year we were not very excited. This year, it feels like every game we're in it. Um, except for the one game the other day where we had like 13 hits and we were like winning, and I felt like at no point in time were we ever in jeopardy of losing that game. Every other game we've been in, it's been like, wow, this is a really good game.
yeah, that aspect of the games this year have been
Yeah,
better because you don't what we saw last year was a team capable of a lot. But the issue is that things snowballed so badly in an inning that it just sucked the life out of the team. And it's just like that was every day. You
right.
knew I'm going to have a lead 4-0 going into the third, and next thing you know, we're going to be down 12-4 because our pitching staff just explodes. We don't have, there has been numerous of times that the pitching staff has got us out of bases loaded situations or runners on second and third with one out and not giving up a run. Like we've put ourselves in situations, like today, I think Hoover had uh 2 errors
On
in
one
this
play.
in one play, and the guy went from second to third with no outs, and then Peralta ended up throwing him out at home,
Yep.
and no one scored. Like, and that's the other thing to take in consideration of is how well our defense is still. Our defense may not be top fielding percentage, quote unquote, but when it comes down to when there's plays that need to be made, the defense makes it. And I think that helps the pitching staff is like I know the defense behind me can make those plays. And I think that's why the starting pitching has been so well, is because you're seeing a really good defense behind them, and you need that
Right.
in that aspect of it. Yeah, the errors might be high, but I think a lot of those errors are rush. Again, going back a handful of podcasts, sometimes it doesn't seem like we have a lot going on upstairs and we make really dumb decisions, and it happens more times than not, but it doesn't take away from the talent that is on the field making plays. There's a reason
Oh, I,
why we're on
I
Sports Center.
I would look at this. I watch enough games. Okay. Whether it's we're at home or away, whatever. And I'll watch a play that is painfully obvious that the guy made an error. Now, I'll use an example of a play going up the middle, and Kane County second baseman grabs the ball, doesn't throw, bobbles it, doesn't throw it, and they count it as a hit. And it's like, wait a second. He made, if he would have made a clean play, he could have got him out, but they give him a hit, right? There's times where these scorers are uh, looking at things that should be errors and they're giving them hits. And okay, right? Our errors aren't errors like that. Our errors are, hey, I went to pick up the ball with the glove, I missed it, I turn around, I grab the ball, now I have to hurry up and throw it as hard
Yeah.
as I can into the ground, and now it goes into the seats because
Well, that's
you know and,
just
and
the decision making at that point. Like
right
that's
and
your
and
it.
so instead of, hey, I missed it, let me hold it, let's not make this worse, we're like, hey, let me try to scavenge something from this, and all of a sudden, we went from an infected toe to having our whole leg amputated.
Yeah.
And that's the way that we play. That's the way we play ball, right? Peralta can do a heck of a job chasing down and getting a ball, but won't set his feet to make the throw. And so now the first baseman has to come off the bag and go 4 feet down the line to be able to get the ball. And now, hey, what was the point of that,
Yeah.
right? If you set your feet, make a good throw, maybe we get him out. But if you don't, we're not going to get him out, right? And you risk overthrowing, the guy gets second base. So, like you said, we're making kind of like boneheaded plays, um, just for the sake of trying to make plays when we really need to just eat the ball sometimes
Mhm.
and not do it, right? And just be smart and be safe with it, and still realize that, you know what? This isn't the play that we needed to make because we'll make the next one.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Um, always some kind of smarky remark from Chuck
I know.
Polarek. It's gotta kind of
Right.
come
That's
stab
right.
stab.
That's
Um,
right.
but like I said earlier in the podcast at the opening, we did talk
Mike.
Mike. Yeah, Mike. He asked us, well, more Chuck set it up, and
No, he wanted you.
well
I was just along for the ride.
no, Chuck. This is we are in this together. So what is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours, or something like that. I think that's what they say,
No,
or something. I don't know. Anyways, no, we had a great conversation with him. he talked to us about the podcast and the RailCats and getting that. I think he said that should be up the week of the dogs and
The
cats
Tuesday right
series
before, yeah, the Tuesday right before, and
right
then
before it. So be sure to check all that. I mean, obviously we cut a little bit of promotion for it. He'll have all that stuff edited. I'll post it on my social media stuff so that way everyone can get the links to that and listen to that. And I obviously after we were done, I extended the offer to him, but that's going to be until after the off season to get all that stuff together. And we do have something in the works that'll be more in the off season. You can wait to listen to his podcast to hear that because Chuck decided to break it on his podcast and not our podcast for some odd reason. Though this one's coming out in a couple weeks. But yeah, no, it was good conversation with him. Yeah, Chuck. Again, I'm on baby watch, so you're gonna have to carry the load of the podcast because I could be at any minute of any day going. All right, well,
yeah, he is.
if we have an off week, you'll know why. If we have two off weeks, you'll probably know why.
I've been
Um,
carrying the load for a long time now.
Yeah. Before I get any further into that, the grounds crew, the front office and the grounds crew this week, they got their money's worth because I think every game in this Sioux City series had a thunderstorm before the game, or then today had a thunderstorm during the game
Yep.
to get the field ready to go unscheduled on time. So kudos to them on getting that all because I mean that puts in a lot of work. It's not simply just brush some water off the field if it's an artificial turf or just uncover the turf. No, a lot of work they put into that. So Noah and all of them, big shout out to them and making sure the field is ready for the players to play in so that they can get the games in. Uh,
Absolutely. Today was one of those things where all of a sudden they pull the tarp and watching them rush through the rain while there's, all the fans are up in the corridor area staying dry, and here they're out there, soaking their shoes in puddles of water and just kind of like out there working like a well-oiled machine, getting this tarp put on there. It was funny. And I'll mention this. Taylor running between the dugouts, and she went to stop on the grass and just fell flat on her butt, and then got right back up and kept going. And it's like, oh, that's hilarious. But these guys out there, it was funny. Uh, while we're watching the game, they had everybody that was of any kind of importance on the team or in the office, right? All standing by the tarp, ready to go for just about every inning. They were standing there the
oh
whole
wow.
time, waiting for the umpire to say, okay, let's cover the field. And then boom, they went. So it was kind of crazy. I think there was maybe one point where there was only three people there, but a majority of the time they had everybody there ready to go. So if you if if they think about it this way, if all of the people that are the interns slash salary people for the company are all in one spot and yet everything else is still running well, it tells you how well oiled machine that
Yep.
front office is when it comes to that. So yeah, kudos to them. Good job out there, Noah, making sure that things were dealt with the way that they needed to be dealt with in between innings, running out there with bags of dirt, and making sure that the guys are safe to be able to play, and that kind of stuff. Can't say it enough. Wonderful field.
Oh,
Wonderful
yeah.
field.
Chuck, you got a final out for this week?
Ooh, final out. Oh man. Uh boy. Um this RailCats team is as bipolar as the people. We're either hot or we're cold. We're close. It's just like it's right there. We've been saying this for a month now, right?
Chuck, you said this last year. I'm pretty sure I have a podcast title called the Bipolar Cats.
Yes, yes, we do. Um, Nothing has changed. So Thomas, if you're watching this, you are correct. These are still Lamar's guys. If we win, they're still Lamar's guys, and if we lose, they're still Lamar's guys. So yes, they are Lamar's guys until we start seeing some things change from management making calls or doing things that are abnormal than what we're used to. the insanity has continued. And then the other thing I got to throw out there is I have to say hi to Luke, a guy that found me on Reddit, asked me what team I support, and I said the RailCats, and he said, "Did you know they have a podcast?" And I played it off as, "No, I didn't know. Tell me more about it." And he goes, "I listened to it. It's really good." And I'm like, "Oh." And then I, kind of played along for a minute and said, "Well, yeah, uh, I know who that guy is." So there you go, Luke. I mentioned your name. If it doesn't get if it gets taken out, it's not my fault.
Well, it won't get. I had an email or a notification across for my YouTube subscription. There was a Luke that subscribed, so I was wondering, like, I don't know Luke that would listen to this. Now I do. So Luke, we appreciate the subscription and the follow of, even though you're not a fan of the Railcats, but I'm glad that you know of the Railcats and that you have a special connection to Chuck and
He's a
have that.
Cleveland supporter,
He's a Cleburne fan, so
which that right
good.
there tells me that I can't trust him. So,
Well, he said it, not me. So yeah, I don't got a final out for this week. So I hope you enjoy the
yes, you
rest of your.
do. You do have a final
What
out.
what
Your
what
final
what?
out is, dude, you are this close to becoming a father, this close, man. And so, everybody that watches this podcast, keep Kyle and his wife and Logan, whose name is going to be Rusty, in your prayers and your thoughts as he goes through this next week, next couple of weeks, and makes this happen. That is your final out, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's my final out. Yes. Well, no, my final out should be to my wife, even though she doesn't listen to this. That she still allows me to do this, even though she is 38 weeks pregnant and could pop at any moment of any time, and that I get to spend 2 hours, 3-ish hours away from her, recording podcasts and having a good time with Chuck. So
I want
yeah.
to mention that I don't know if you know this or not, but that's not how the baby is born. She doesn't just pop. Okay. So
All right. Well, that's gonna
I
wrap
want
it
to
up for
read
this.
those books. Read those books, do some online searches on how babies are born, and
Wait,
be more informed.
a stork doesn't come in with the baby to the hospital and just drops it off?
Right. She doesn't just pop and then all of a sudden, confetti comes out and then the stork comes
I
down.
thought that's how
Yeah.
that worked.
No,
Hey,
that's why you can't believe everything you read on the internet. So you need to read
I fell asleep during the sex ed education course. So
we know that's why you're in the situation you're in.
yes, that is why. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you watch this, and go
Go
Cats.
Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.